Alright guys, this is my commentary of the 3251 Mega Man X2 any percent speed run. It's a very good run, probably the best speed run I've ever executed in my life. You know, I've been speedrunning for like 4.5 years, and this run was it blew my mind. The only one that I've had that could compare was the first sub 36 in Mega Man X 100%, and that run was just almost as good. But this one, I mean, speedrunning in this day and age is pretty optimized. So breaking the 33 was a huge achievement. But not only did I break 33, I almost broke 3250. Almost getting the 3240 time. So here we go. Alright, so start of the run, you know, this is the intro stage. Nice thing about the intro stage in X2 is that there is absolutely no RNG in it. So when you want to grind, you know, for a good time in this game, you know, the intro stage is like really fun to play. There's absolutely no randomness whatsoever. It's all about having extremely good movement. It's a lot of really fun movement, and you know, in X2 it's really nice because you start out with a dash. There I got a gap jump. I don't remember. I only got one gap jump in the intro, and I made some like slight mistakes. So I actually did get behind in this PB, in this PB, like in the intro in this PB. Anything like below 59 for the CFO kill is pretty standard for me. You know, if I get like a 59, I probably made a big mistake somewhere in the intro stage. But you know, whether you get like a mid 59 or a mid 58, you know, it's too early in the run to like want to reset. You know, if I get a minute or something, I'll probably reset then. But you know, it's all about your sponge time, realistically. So, you know, 59.3, you know, plus 0.1, it's really nothing. You know, 58 would have granted me maybe half a second or something like that. So it's not a big deal. All right, first stage, you can get a sub there. It's pretty funny during the commentary run. The first stage in this speed run is wire sponge. One of the reasons we do it is because it's grinding out like some of the bad RNG in the run. You extra kill runs by you know, giving you really terrible luck, and I'll go over that whenever we get to the boss fight. You see that I also got the heart there. The reason for that is because the any percent speedrun in X2 actually gets all the parts because of an item that we get later in the run, but when we get there I'll explain that. This is a pretty good stage. I got really good weather RNG. I made a tiny mistake by bonking on the wall, which cost maybe like 0.8 seconds or something like that, you know, roughly about a second. So yeah, Sponge, the way he works is, you know, he bounces around and he spins like that. You know, when he spins, he's unable to take any damage, you know, from the front side. And this is what you want, really. You want him to go up. And the reason you want him to go up is because the way Sponge works is that when you get him down to 10 health, well, when he gets below 10 health, he goes into a state of invincibility that loses consistently about 9 seconds or so. And then you just have to wait for that to go away. But during his climb, or during his ceiling attachment, if he has 4 spikes out on the field, he'll come down. But as long as you keep destroying spikes, he'll keep climbing or whatever, and during that climb he does not go into his invincibility. So that's the thing that you grind out there. Also, you have weakness for alligator, so that was pretty good. You know, 3:03 is an amazing time. That is a really good time. So now we go into Gator stage. Gator stage is one of the most technical in the entire game, including like this chain jump. Also, I got God Capsule. It's weird because like the RNG on the capsule varies. It's like on a global timer. The capsule can only open whenever the screen doesn't shake, and whenever it keeps shaking, you know, it won't open. So you just get RNG that way. So God Capsule is quite amazing. So once again, this stage is extremely technical. Once we get the capsule, the arm upgrade, we can do amazing things like charge chain jumps, like, you know, using that one to get a little bit ahead here. And then this, for example, you can't normally get that. There is an alternative strat to getting it, but it's a lot slower. You know, I'm at the point where I pretty much need to do everything to save even the smallest amount of time. You know, and you can get over the gap like that. It's just this stage has just a ton of like technical things about it. You know, it's just pretty much like once we get the arm upgrade, we're pretty much utilizing it like every point that we possibly can. So. Here is a couple more chains, and I believe I get it. No, I don't get the triple chain, surprisingly. I'm usually pretty consistent about that. This is a triple chain. You can actually bypass the door and grab the door, saving some precious frames there. Okay, so you come into the fight with a yellow charge. You hit him with the initial one, and then you hit him with the charge chain, which actually saves an entire second in this fight. The way Gator works is the first hit is a 5-frame window, so you only have 5 frames to hit him initially, and every other, you know, hit is about a 3-frame window. So you have 3 frames, like, to keep him above surface, you know what I mean? Keep him from submerging. It seems like really tight, but it's more of like a rhythm thing. You can't really think of it like timing. It's just more of like a rhythm. It's like done, you know what I mean? So if you play a lot of MMX, you'll feel that rhythm. So another interesting thing about this game is that the last time, like last year whenever I was running this run, we did a different route. Basically we did Ostrich third. And that's completely different. This, we do Stag third instead, and that completely changed the entire route. It saves about 5 seconds with really good gameplay. And in addition, what it also does is makes you go to Centipede fourth, which Centipede is probably the worst boss in the entire game because of his RNG, you know. At this level of play, if you want to get 32, you're pretty much grinding for a good sponge, and then going for Centipede and seeing if Centipede cooperates. And I'll explain, you know, why he's so bad and why it's so crucial that he cooperates. This stage right here is also really technical. It's got a lot of chain jumps, and the best part, in my opinion, about this stage is the climb right here. I had a decent stage besides that. I made some like other movement mistakes as well. I'm on a pretty good run here, you know, 540 Gator. Like the best run I've ever had is 538 Gator kill. So that kind of gives you a good perspective of like the run here. And this route now, instead of doing bubble on Stag, what you do is Buster Duel. So what this is, you start out with a neon doing 4 damage, and then you just do repetitive dash shots, and then you're holding the direction that's towards the wall so you don't actually fall down when you get damaged. And you're pretty much just dueling him, and a lot of people get enjoyment out of this fight. They just think it looks really cool. So that was a pretty standard fight. There is RNG involved in Stag, like he can throw fireballs at the ground. That's what you want, ideally, because when he throws fireballs, his invincibility frames reset, so you can damage him a lot faster, and you don't have to, you know, basically like chase him all up and down the stage. So That was pretty good. 810 Stag is really nice. So anything sub 810 Stag is like really good pace. I could have had it, but I made some mistakes on the stage. So it's not a big deal, you know. I'm still 5 seconds ahead, so I can't complain, right? And this is the deal breaker right here, Magna Centipede. The stage is pretty straightforward. Now that we have burner, we can use that to get to places really quickly, and also like places that we couldn't do before. And as you can see, just the X2 run just utilizes a lot of chain and a lot of burner, like, you know, there and then there. It's all about, like, you know, saving little bits of frames here. So we use the speed burner here to get to the sub tank, and there's an alternative strat. You can use the block to jump up there, but speed burner is not only looks a lot better, but it's faster. So another thing in Ostrich Third is that you actually use the Sonic Slicer to you do Centipede 7th in that route. Yeah, you use the charged silk shot to take out that sword, but that used the charged chain. It's called the shotgun strat because you're just like up in its face and you just get really close to it and release it, and it's like super fast. So it's pretty cool. Just I'm pretty mind blown where X2 has come in the last year with the route change and new strats and just movement optimizations and everything like that. So it's pretty cool. And then you use the speed burner in that hallway to actually zip under that falling block. It looks like you're gonna get crushed, but as long as you jump at the right time, you'll never get crushed. Yeah, because I've never been crushed, right? Okay, so here's where the run is determined. Now, see, getting that pattern, that is called a tailspin. That is called a tailspin. When Centipede gives you that pattern, it's the best pattern because he doesn't move at all while you try to damage him. And this is a strat that was probably discovered about 3 or 4 months ago or so, I want to say. If he does the tailspin at the very start of the fight, you can hold right and slide down the wall that's behind him at a certain time of when the Centipede, like, tails actually go off screen, and literally you get him into an infinite tailspin. As you saw, like the tail was just rotating around me, and you kind of use that to your advantage. And it's called the God Centipede, you know what I mean? And that's what you want. Otherwise, he can get hit, teleport around the screen, and all this nonsense, and, you know, basically your run's dead at that point. You just can't do anything about it. So this here is one of my favorite stages. This is Crystal Snail, and the reason I love it so much is because you're just going fast the entire time. Like, for example, you use that slope, and then you charge chain there, grab the wall, and then you do that again. You know, you're just constantly using the slopes, and it's just a ton of chain and burner. Like, that's pretty much the name of the game in X2. Chains and burners. Like, it's just incredible. And here, this is actually a mini-boss skip. The way this game works is like, or that particular section is, if you produce a certain amount of lag, which is caused by the speed burner, the alternate strat is using a soak shot at that particular place. It skips the trigger for the mini-boss actually happening. It's really weird. It doesn't look like there's a ton of lag there, but it's just enough to make the mini-boss not spawn. So that's what that is. And speed burner is actually grants you faster movement speed than like a dash. So anytime that you can use speed burner, you will. And as you can see, you just use it at any point in the stage. And going through the stage, it just looks so clean. You know, it really is one of my favorite stages. So okay, so here the snail fight, it has 0 RNG. I thought that maybe it had a tiny bit earlier, but it actually doesn't have anything whatsoever. You basically buffer a lemon at the start, and then you have to release your charge shot at a certain time, and you have to do another dash shot right there. You know, you just completely body him. After you do that, after you get a dash shot, you pretty much have to dodge the crystal that he shoots at you by dashing under it, and then you place a mine right in front of him. And while you place the mine, you go ahead and hold your shoot button, and that way you can get a charge mine, and you can just have the charge mine track him, and each time it's doing 4 damage. So, and you hit him 5 times, so he's left with 20 HP after you do all that. So. Pretty cool strat. I just like this game. One of the reasons I really like this game as well is because it has the least amount of RNG in any Mega Man X game. Like, I like RNG, but this game, it's perfect for me. I love it. So, Ostrich 7th. I made a tiny ladder mistake there. I didn't mean to. I'm not sure what that was, but so you use a Speedrunner to actually bypass that guy and use multiple chains just to get your advantage over him. Then you hop over and hope to not crash. And this is something I recently been doing. I've been holding dash on the spike bed. It's a little bit faster. It actually saved a half a second over what I wasn't doing. I was basically releasing dash as soon as I got on the spike bed because I was kind of scared, but now I have a visual cue for it. It's fine. So yeah. And then that was a cool combo. Use a chain and then a back-to-back wheel as well. So then here we get the air dash. The air dash is actually extremely useful in this run. It's highly useful. And once again, it's like, you know, this is any percent. You know, why are you getting all the parts? And you know, once again, there is a very, very good reason of why we're getting all the parts. And later in the Sigma stages, you'll see why. But I'm not gonna quite spoil it yet. Although most of you watching probably already know what the hell I'm talking about. So, all right, this is also a new technique. It's called fast double hits. You start off with a dash shot. You Crystal Hunter again, and then the way Ostrich's patterns work during his iframes, if you damage him like at the peak of his jump, his iframes reset like immediately. Like so, what you do is dash shot, and after you dash shot, his iframes reset completely, and then if you can actually do a quick swap to Crystal Hunter in that same jump. So it's just like Crystal Hunter, dash shot, Crystal Hunter, Crystal Hunter, dash shot, Crystal Hunter, and there's no RNG in that fight either whatsoever. There's a tiny bit in the stage. It's kind of like lag. That's another weird thing about this game is like the lag in some of the stages is completely random. We don't really understand why it exists. It's there sometimes and it's not. So I don't know. Okay, this stage is this is the best split in the entire run. This stage was so perfect. I goated it, and quite honestly, I don't think there's any time that I can even knock off the split. That's a relatively new thing. You know, you do that in Stag 3rd because you can slope jump and then get on that ledge. You can get on that ledge and then do a speedrunner to reach the platforms. It saves a second over the double neon strat. So, as you can see, the movement was pretty clean there. But the highlight of this run, or of the split, was actually the crab fight. The actual fight itself was fucking amazing. Like, it was great. So Crab has some RNG. He can walk, jump, or do a bubble at the start. The bubble at the start leads into a strat called the Gameo Crab, which is what the task does. So you place a double hit, and then you put a wheel there, and then you place another charged wheel at a specific spot, and then I freak out here. I'm like, whoa, dude. At this point, I'm 9 seconds ahead. Like, I don't believe it. Like, this is the greatest run I've ever had in my life. But it's basically a task strat that saves a second over any other optimal crab fight. Because you're placing two charged double hits, and the double hits, what happens is, you know, if you place the charge wheel in a specific spot on the screen, it'll hit them twice instead of once. And, you know, that does basically an additional 4 damage in total because you're doing it twice. So it saves a second over any any perfect crap, you know, stage or fight or whatever. So here's where I start to lose a tiny bit of time. Not so much because of mistakes, but because of, like, this is where the lag and things, just random things. This stage has the most RNG in the game, like at the stage, not necessarily the fight or anything. So when you're dropping down and you do the wheel, sometimes it likes to give you no lag or a bunch of lag. And then up here is another place. When you do the speed burner, I don't really get that much lag there, but sometimes it likes to lag a lot more, and then just lag, you know, in this stage it's all over. So, and here's another part. You have to fight this guy twice, once here in another spot, and then what you do is lay down a wheel, and then he can either quick drop like he did there, which is what you want, or he can do a short hop, mid hop, or a Michael Jordan, which is a max hop, and that loses the most time. So here, you don't really experience too much lag here, but down here in this section, I get quite a bit of lag here. Yeah, I get a lot of lag, and then coming down, I don't think I get that much. But here's where I basically my PB had like almost perfect RNG. So here, that was a mid hop, mid back hop. As you can see, the quick drop saves a considerable amount of time over it. That's like the only major mistake in the stage. I failed Hellway. It's not a big deal. Probably like less than a second, you know. Time loss, it's really not a huge deal. This is another thing. This fight, for the most part, has no RNG. The way to optimize this fight is to reduce the amount of dust sprites that are on the screen, which are caused by you sliding along the wall or sliding on the ground. So, and then this, you know, you just charge, and then 2 regulars, and boom. This 8 Maverick time, 2041. Is the fastest I've pretty much ever seen. You know, I'm freaking out. I'm like, 2041 is nuts. You know, my goal was to get sub 2040, which is just insane in itself, you know. But 2041 is crazy, you know. I'm 7 seconds ahead, you know. My initial goal was to get 32, period, you know. And I'm 7 seconds ahead of my PB, you know. So I'm on crazy pace right now, you know. I'm on insane pace. Best pace I've ever had. Alright. So we're leading into the Sigma stages. The stage itself has no RNG in it, but it's got a lot of technical stuff like the speed burner, then the chain there. I didn't grab the wall, so I lost a tiny bit of time here. And then you do the charge chain there, it gets you a little advantage, and then you double kick off the wall, sonic slicer. It's just got a lot of stuff in it. And then another chain, like right there. And this is also one of my favorite stages because it has no RNG and just a lot of technical movement. So, and then this strats here, use the Crystal Hunter and use that as a platform. And then you destroy this guy, use the platform jump there, grab the chain, and then you can utilize a burner here to save, like, you know, maybe 10 frames or something. Pretty good stage overall. Not perfect. I made some mistakes. Now here is where the RNG happens. Violin can screw you over in a number of ways. The way his spike ball hits the wall can cause a ton of lag, or it can cause like none at all. He can also do this and spawn platforms above him, and then, you know, that costs time because he turns invincible whenever he spawns a platform. Usually he doesn't matter, but sometimes, like, I've lost like 7 seconds to him, and I get so mad when it happens. But there I was like, oh god, I gained time on Violin. This is serious. So this is one of the most clutch stages in the game. Sigma 2. The reason for that is because this has a very dangerous trick called the elevator skip. An experienced X2 runner usually doesn't have trouble doing it because, well, quite frankly, they've practiced it a ton. and here it is right here. You get under the platform, dash under it, and then jump up at the very last second there, and you can actually skip it and then get a hold of that platform before it rises up, so you can go along with it. So it looks pretty cool to like a casual, but like I said, for any X2 speedrun, they're like, oh, got the elevator skip, you better have. Sergey's, yeah. This is a scary fight when you're on good pace. You use the charge slicer to get double hits. Now here, I was executing quite well. He gave me really good RNG. If he spawns on the bottom there, like it's really nice to see that, because he can either do 1 to 3 RNG or 2 to 4. When he does 2 to 4, you can go for a strat called a Gameo hit, which is it's a lot faster because it reduces the time that you have to wait to jump and do a double hit, because you need proper positioning for a double hit to happen. But if you damage boost and then try to go for a Megu hit on the bottom, you can actually save a good amount of time, at least a second. So, all right. Sigma 3, I'd say the hardest stage in the entire game, because usually if I get to this point, I'm on a really good run. This climb right here is pretty nuts. Like, I almost about released the Charge Crystal Hunter, which if you do that, oh Jesus, your run's over. Your run's absolutely over. It lags the screen and does a bunch of nonsense, but I end up getting top route pretty well. I actually take it pretty safe. It may not look like it, but I played it extremely safe on that top route, without a doubt. Like, I didn't want to lose my run. You know, I just didn't want to go for too much YOLO. So this is the primary reason why we get all the parts in the entire game. Now see, another question is, you might be asking, why is this even 80%? It seems like it's 100%. After I show you what the Shoryuken actually do, I'll explain that. This is why the Shoryuken is so useful. Boom. Done. Get out of here. Done. By the way, 2603 agile kill. Holy balls. Enough said. So anyway, what defines the 100% completion of this game is actually getting the 0 parts. That requires a different route, and then you basically have to fight Violin, Sergeus, and Agile twice. You have to fight them each once in the Maverick Rush, and that's pretty much it. And it's not really a common category. Like, in fact, like, nobody runs it. So, all right, Shoryu Rush, boys. Shoryu Rush. For real, this is the turning point of your run. Will your run succeed? Will your run succeed? And at this point, let's see if you can see it. Yeah, I'm like one. That's what I like to do whenever I'm on good pace. You know, I like to see my stream monsters count with me. Like 1. You count them down. You know, and while it seems like it's easy, it's like, oh, just one hit everything. Fun fact about the Shoryuken is that it looks like it's a one hit, but you can actually see the HP gradually going down. The first frame of the Shoryuken does 16 damage, and then every other frame does 8. So it takes a minimum of 3 frames to actually kill anything. Alright, so this boss rush, the Shoryu Rush, is actually one of the best splits in the entire run as well. The second best, actually. I get Crab Jump. That is extremely rare, and it saves about a second over doing the other method, which is jumping over them and then forcing a jump so you can, you know, Shoryuken them out of the air. At that point, I was like, I whispered in the microphone. I was like, oh my god, I got a Crab Jump. Holy shit. I was freaking out. So this is another point. Sponge, he jumped for me, which is also optimal RNG. Him attaching to the ceiling's fine too, but it just isn't as fast. But the worst thing is he spins, and that costs about 2.5 seconds, which is terrible. He's done that so many times, like, on so many good runs, that actually would have cost me 32, but he spun, and I was like, fuck you. So, alright, so, anyway, Ostrich is pretty static. He'll always do that. There's, you know, no dynamic. Same with Stag, too, and Centipede as well. Centipede can do different things at the start, but if you get in the proper position, you will always one-hit him. Alright, this is the hardest part of the Shoryu Rush for me. It's the 4-chain and the Shoryu. You cannot actually kill Gator off the bat. At this part, I don't know if you guys see this, but I put down my controller, and I was like, I was shaking. I was like, oh my god, this is it. Like, I was freaking the fuck out, like, seriously. Yeah, you can't actually kill Gator in one short. You can, because his hitbox is too tiny, so you have to weaken him prior. And this guy too, since he's forced into 2 phases, you would be able to one-hit him, but you know you can't, because he's got 2 phases that you inevitably cannot avoid. Because he grants invincibility once his health reaches a certain amount. So he's pretty simple. Now, this is the last one. This is what determines if your run is going to continue or not. This is a strat called YOLO Snail. Now, YOLO Snail requires almost pixel perfect positioning, and kaboom, we get it. Now what he can do is go up in his shell and then spin around at the fucking top of the screen and cost you a bunch of time. It can cost you from like 5 to 10 seconds, it just depends. But I got lucky, and he let me pass. And as you can see, I got a gold split on the Shoryu Rush. I'm 13 seconds ahead. Like, that was the best Shoryu Rush I've ever seen in my life. I'm 13 seconds ahead. I'm freaking out. My heart is about to explode out of my chest. But what's going on in my head is, I have to do this. This is the one. I cannot throw it away. I gotta do this. I had bronchitis at the time, and I'm still kind of getting over it. So it's like, it's kind of difficult for me to breathe at this point, but I'm just like, I'm trying to keep calm, and if you've never been on a world record shattering pace, it literally, adrenaline is flowing through your body. It's a feeling like no other. It's just some of the most intense stuff ever. So I get the 0-2 hit, it's pretty easy, but anything is hard, no matter what you're doing, if you are literally just shaking. And this is what cost me the 32 4X. This is literally what cost me the 32 4X. This right here. If he jumps up, but I sure you can too late. And I'm like, okay, no, this is fine. Like, I do that. I'm just like, that's fine. I still get a 32. But I sure you can too late, and I don't get the one hit. So it cost me about 3.5 seconds. But even still, I get the one hit, and we finish strong with 32-51. Now look at this. I'm yelling. I'm like, oh, fuck you! I'm freaking out. Like right here, you can probably see me. Yeah, I'm like, but it'd probably be better to see the original video. But you can see how hard I'm breathing. I'm hyperventilating. I'm at a point where I'm, you know, she's hugging me. I'm just like, like it's crazy. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. I'm like sweating and yeah, she hands me the towel and I have to drink some water, but at this point, like, I'm getting donations and subs like no other. Like, and you'll see here in a second, should get a 3251 donation. The Swole Nation, anyway. Yeah, here it is. This is from should be Toupee. Yep, Toupee with the 3251 Swole Nation. I get about 11 of those that night, and countless subs. So it was a rush, to say the least. And yeah, it was crazy. And I just look at this. Look at that. I just got a 3251 donation. You guys are crazy, man. You guys are crazy. 3251 from Ora. Missed the train, but here you go, dude. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much, dude. Alright, live donation during commentary. Anyway, once again, I'm extremely happy with this run. Could it be better? Absolutely. I missed the 32-4X by just a couple seconds. And you know, like I said, it could have been better, but you know what? It wasn't. But the deal is, like, versus my summer best, I have about 26 seconds that I can save. Like, even just maybe feasibly like 5 or 6. But that's a grind that I'm not motivated at the time to do. I need somebody to come out the bushes and try to beat my time before I even try to go for a time like that. But 3251, best speed run I've ever had in my entire life, and holy shit. But anyway, that's gonna wrap up the commentary. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be uploading this to YouTube, so yeah. I shall see you guys later. Thank you so much for tuning in.